This is Kibera, a slum in the heart of Nairobi, Kenya, the size of the Washington Mall or New York Central Park, in which 1 million people live in shacks of corrugated metal, without running water or electricity. The people of Kibera suffer from hunger, unemployment, a lack of housing and health care, and an extremely high infection rate of HIV/AIDS. 20,000 children in Kibera cannot afford to attend the government's public schools due to the cost of books and uniforms. Even children who can afford to attend public schools suffer from the overcrowding of schools and a lack of enough qualified teachers. The student-teacher ratio of many schools is 80 students to every teacher. Because schools are often forced to enroll twice as many students as their capacity allows, orphans and other disadvantaged children are selectively excluded from attending the public schools. This inaccessibility to a quality education has led to the formation of community schools, such as the Red Rose School, which is privately funded and provides scholarships for orphans in Kibera. Only $250 provides a year-long scholarship for a child, which includes tuition, uniforms, books, and 2 meals a day. These 2 meals are sometimes the only food a child has access to consistently.
Welcome to Red Rose!
Welcome to Red Rose!
Welcome to Red Rose!
Jambo, jambo bwana, habari gani? Nzuri sana. Wageni wakaribishwa, Kenya yetu hakuna matata.
Public school that the government offers is not enough for everybody, and the quality of the education has dropped very much. I have chosen to be involved with community efforts, schools such as Red Rose, where the classroom size is actually very small and very good. At Red Rose, the classroom size is about 12 or 13 kids to one teacher. So that's a very different ratio of students to teachers compared to the public school, where it's one teacher, 80 or 75 students. That's very different. So I think at Red Rose, not only are the kids getting a good academic experience because the teachers are available for them to teach them to their different skills, but the teachers also know them better and have good relationships with them, so the teachers can help them with psychological things, with just their social and emotional development in a way that it's very hard to do in the public school. I think that's very important, that the teachers in a school like Red Rose, which is a small community effort, know the kids, because many of the kids who go to Red Rose don't have parents. Why it's important to have a small school like Red Rose, or schools with good teacher-to-student ratios like Red Rose, is because many of the kids that are being helped in Kenya because of the HIV and AIDS crisis, we have a huge explosion of orphans, and the challenge of taking care of orphan children who don't have their parents, and they don't have much food, and they don't have the books and everything else. The school becomes, in terms of that, a surrogate family, and having teachers at the school who care, having teachers at the school who know and understand them is very important. So the teachers are playing the role of counselor, big sister, almost a parental role, as well as the academic teacher role. And I like that about Red Rose, because we have a group of dedicated teachers who know the children and help them.
The classrooms at Red Rose were impressive in the sense that they were clean and tidy and fully sufficient. At Red Rose, they had the basics and they used them incredibly well. The kids were learning, the kids were making progress, and the majority of what they had were a few posters on the walls, pencil, paper, and a blackboard. I felt like what we were able to bring there made a really big difference. I mean, we tripled the size of their library to what is, in most American households, their basic home library is now their school library. So I think that the donations and the things we're sending make a really big difference as well. The teachers, I thought, were really open. They were really warm. They're very good teachers. Clearly they are passionate about working with these kids. They know the kids well, and they push the kids to do their best. I think that both the kids and the teachers there are very aware of the fact that being well educated and knowing your stuff is going to make all the difference for these kids or not. And they're clearly dedicated to doing that. And it's wonderful to see that there's no one thinks, oh gosh, you're an orphan, or oh gosh, your family is poor and it was hard for you to get a pencil here today. There are high standards and they have high expectations, and the kids are expected to achieve them, which in the long run is going to make a lot of difference for these kids. I brought back from being there were songs that the kids taught us. that we have taught the kids here, and our kids love doing them. And it's been really wonderful and fun for my kids to have a really real touch point and know and see, and for me to be able to share with them how very alike they are. Because I think when we teach the Africa unit in kindergarten, it's easy for the young students to feel like everything is very, very different. And it's really nice for me to be able to show them how the same we are.
Oh, that was so good, isn't it? You made a very good picture.
I wanna sing, sing, sing. I wanna shout, shout, shout. I wanna sing, I wanna shout. Praise the Lord. When these gates are open wide, I'll be there by your side. I wanna sing, I wanna shout. Praise the Lord.
All of the students were really happy to get to know us and would, climb on us and ask us questions and practice their English. But a few specifically kind of took the step further and really spent time with us and asked us questions. And Vivian Andebwa, who's 8 years old, was a student who liked to spend a lot of time with me, and she liked to teach me Swahili, how to count, and she practiced her English with me. And at the end it was really sad because we were leaving. We had spent a good amount of time there. Most of the kids were crying. It was horrible. It was really sad. And she gave me one of her only possessions, which was a Swahili primer, because I'd asked her, questions about how to say certain things in Swahili. So that kind of really meant a lot to me, and I know that if ever I go back to Kibera, I'll definitely want to try and find her and see how she's doing.
We shall never forget you. Our dear, dear, dear visitors, we shall never forget you.
My name is Quinta Atiani. I greet my friends from America. I tell them, I thank them for what they have done for us. They had buy for us new uniform, give us books, pencils, and I pray for them wherever they are. They continue to remember us.
So what do I do to help? I guess I've benefited a lot from people helping me to become successful in life. And I think despite all the challenges that you hear in places like Kenya, whether it's AIDS, it's poverty, it's unemployment, the children are the hope for the future. And they cannot realize that hope without a good education. And I'd say if anyone can help us to give the children, like the children at Red Rose, a good education, the school meals they get, their school uniforms and other basic school supplies, that goes such a long way in making sure we can change their possibilities and options for life. And I love doing that, and I'm very grateful that there's many people I have met who support me to make sure we can do that.